Boxing truth here. All right, let's talk about Andre Ward's future with Roc Nation and HBO. Both parties that he's doing business with, I believe the contracts, especially with HBO, are pretty much expired. His deal with HBO is pretty much finished. His deal with Roc Nation Sports, I believe, is at the tail end. And it just seems now that Roc Nation is pretty much out of the boxing business. They're pretty much closing shop. They don't even try to poach fighters anymore. They fired their matchmaker. I mean, they're pretty much cleaning house. So where does the future lie for Andre Ward? How are these big fights going to get made in the future now that Ward is accustomed to getting overpaid and getting $5 to $6 million guarantees when the fights don't generate nowhere near as much as he's getting guaranteed for fights? So there's a lot of problems going forward for Andre Ward. His relationship with HBO is not necessarily on the best of terms. They've been up and down ever since he signed with HBO back in 2012. He's been the inactive period didn't help his relationship with HBO, and I've noticed there's some tension between Ward and HBO. I mean, Ward almost forgot to thank HBO at the final press conference for the rematch with Sergey Kovalev. So they're not necessarily on the best of terms, and the plan was for this Kovalev Ward fight from the get-go was to make the big fight between the two, and it was a fight that HBO believed Kovalev was going to win. They wanted Kovalev to win. That was the plan, to knock off Ward, make Kovalev into a bigger star, and Ward would just disappear into oblivion. But Ward got the gift decision, pretty much changed the plans of HBO. They had to do the rematch. We all saw what happened. Another bullshit result. And now Kovalev has to go into a different direction, has to figure out what his plans are. And going forward, what's the plans for Andre Ward? I mean, he's most likely going to get released by Roc Nation. They're not going to guarantee him that type of money and take this type of loss every single pay-per-view event they do with Ward. So I can envision Roc Nation releasing Ward relatively soon, since they're pretty much done with the boxing business. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't understand the numbers. They don't understand the business. They don't understand the reality that you have to give. The reality that you have to give when it comes to guarantees to certain fighters. You have to go by the fighter's worth, and they were overpaying Andre Ward's worth in a number of fights. So going forward, it's going to be difficult, I see, for Ward to really even engage in these fights anymore. I mean, he was getting paid $6 million to fight Kovalev. What's he going to do when he finds out that he's not going to get nowhere near that type of guarantee for, say, a Donna Stevenson fight? I mean, that fight is a difficult fight to make. Different networks, different entities, different promotions involved. The fight's not a huge fight. Stevenson's not really the biggest name out there. And if the rematch between Ward and Kovalev did even worse business than the first fight, then how big is a fight between Ward and Adonis Stevenson right now? I mean, really. Stevenson's been cherry picking, fighting on regular TV. He's getting booed in his own hometown because of the level of opposition he fights. So he's not really making any noise in the light heavyweight division. He's not really the biggest name out there. He's not really a fight that's going to make it worthwhile for Ward. Ward's already acting indifferent towards a Stevenson showdown. He's acting like that Stevenson needs to prove himself. He's fighting less dangerous opponents in his hometown. So he's already giving Adonis Stevenson the Lucian Bute treatment. Ward's feeling like he's doing a lot of work. He's in dangerous fights, and Stevenson is just laying back, having a good old time in Montreal, cherry picking. So going forward, I see it very difficult. when it comes to the business side for Ward, I mean, he's going to want huge paydays going forward, but the reality is he's not going to get overpaid if he signs with a real promoter like Top Rank or Golden Boy or a K2 or even Al Heyman. He's not going to get nowhere near those type of paydays. He's going to get the reality guarantees. He's going to get what he's actually worth. So I see a lot of difficult moves business-wise for Ward, because I could see him retiring. I could see him not fighting for the rest of the year. I could see him not fighting Stevenson right away. I could see him vacating his titles to avoid his mandatories, just like he did in super middleweight division. I mean, Ward's going to fuck everything up. This is why I wanted Sergey Kovalev to win, because he was going to fulfill his mandatories. He was going to fight the next best available opponents. It didn't matter with the money. He would have gotten in there and fought. But with Ward, he's a diva. He's going to want to get overpaid. He's not going to fight if he's not going to get this certain amount of money. So I see a difficult future for Ward going forward. He will most likely be released by Roc Nation. They're not going to keep overpaying him and not getting any return in the investment. His relationship with HBO, who knows where that goes? I know the contract is pretty much expired between them. So Ward's got some business decisions to make going forward, and who knows what his future holds, because there's really no big paydays for him in the light heavyweight division right now. Adonis Stevenson's not going to cut it for him. So I could very well see Ward going to heavyweight and looking for the biggest fight possible. That's very possible for his next move. I have no idea where he goes in the light heavyweight division, because for what he's looking for, the money just ain't there in the light heavyweight division in terms of name recognition and the market value the fighters bring. Looks like Ward, the only move for him that makes sense for him is to go to heavyweight and look for a big opportunity. But we'll see where Ward's career goes. I could really care less. I mean, not really too much interested in his career. He's a fake champion. Needs to cheat to win, and he's gonna be allowed to cheat and do whatever the fuck he wants to do in the ring, as long as he's fighting in his own comfort zone in Oakland as the A side. And I just don't have much interest in Ward's career, but I do have interest in terms of his fights. Don't have much interest, but I do have interest in terms of where he goes from here. What's his next move? Is he going to leave HBO? And what promoter is he going to sign with? And is he going to fight? Will he fight these fights now that he's no longer going to be overpaid the way Roc Nation's been overpaying him? But we'll see where he goes from here. Ward can do whatever the fuck he wants. I could care less if he doesn't fight Adonis Stevenson. That fight doesn't really do much for me anyways. Ward is just not a pleasing fighter to watch. Breaks all the rules. Doesn't fight the right way. A diva. An overpaid diva. A manufactured, protected champion. A fake champion. And a guy that's very difficult to do business with. But we'll see where Ward goes from here. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.